Hey friends, Miss Ford here again today, talking to you about your daily classwork checklist. Now, this is more specific to my kiddos and students at our school, but if you are doing any online learning, this will probably help you out as well, just to kind of keep an eye on how to go through your daily, your daily list. Um, One thing that we always want to start out by doing is checking our web mail or our email, whatever way that you communicate with your teacher online. The reason for that is because whether you're at CCA or you're at any other school, your teachers are really right now, especially during the hybrid learning, are trying to get information to you and they're not right in front of you to be able to share that. So checking email or webmail, whatever your school is using, is extremely important. If you're at CCA, it's on the left-hand side whenever you log in. Anywhere, anything else, anywhere else you would need to talk to your teachers about where to go to find your school email. But you want to make sure that you're checking that both in the morning and in the afternoon. So you're probably thinking to yourself, Ms. Ford, why am I checking it twice a day? Well, because things change throughout the day. So you never know, your teacher might be sending you something in the morning that doesn't apply to the afternoon, or they may be sending you something in the afternoon that is a follow up to something in the morning. You definitely want to make sure that you're replying to any messages sent directly to you. So that means if the teacher is saying, hey, Johnny, I missed you in class today, you want to make sure that you reply to them and just follow up with them. Or, hey, Samantha, and guys, I'm just pulling names out of hats. So, and then I'm in there. So, Samantha, you struggled a little bit in your test. Can we meet and talk about that? Those are things you're going to want to follow up with your teacher right away to be able to get the help that you need in your classwork. Again, the next one is kind of specific to CCA as well, but it's replying and checking chat messages. So if your school does not have a chat feature, this doesn't apply to you, but for those of you at CCA, you want to make sure that you're checking and replying to those chat messages. Again, communication, regardless of what setting you are doing for your schooling or where you're going to school, whether you're in a brick and mortar school, whether you are in an online school, whether you are in your local school's online program or our school's online program, it doesn't really matter. Any of those, you're going to need to make sure that you are directly communicating with your teachers. The more communication you have, the better things are going to be. So you want to make sure that you're checking if your school has a chat-based system or if you're at CCA using our chat-based system, you'll want to make sure that you're checking that as you go through. Okay. And again, this next part's a little bit more specific, but if you're doing a virtual or hybrid learning model at your school, this definitely can apply to that too. So you want to complete at least one lesson for each class listed on your planner for that day if you are a CCA student. If you are using Google Classroom, your teacher will list for you for whatever school you're going to exactly like what you have to turn in that day. And you want to make sure that that's all submitted. That's going to help you to stay on track and keep you from getting overwhelmed. If you are behind in your classes, whether again it's CCA or any other school, one lesson per class per day, and then add in an extra lesson to get caught up in. So maybe choose an extra math lesson to do or an extra language arts lesson to do. That's going to help you to get caught up on some of those overdue lessons as well. Mark my lessons as completed so my answers are sent to my teacher. Again, regardless of where you are going to school, you will need to make sure that you are marking your lessons as completed. CCA, you go through each page and it has it at the very end for you to mark it off. In any other school, if you're using like the Google Classrooms, you will be able to click the turn in button and submit any work that you need to for your class. I sent any messages to my teachers with questions on today's lessons. Very important, again, communication. If you're having trouble on something, your teachers are not right there in front of you. They cannot read your mind. We've lost our crystal ball collectively as a group of teachers, and we are not able to see that stuff unless you're telling us. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are following up with that and asking anything that you need. The next part, again, is a little more specific to our CCE students. Check your cell phone. You may have received a text message from our chat system. You may also have received a phone call from your teachers. You're going to want to make sure that you follow up. If you say, hey, you know what, my teacher called and they just wanted to check in and I'm going to follow up with them after class tomorrow. I'm going to stop and talk to them. You'll want to make sure that you write that down in your notes or put a post-it note on your desk. That way you can, just make sure that you're following through with that because your teachers do want to hear from you and they want to help. Finally, making a plan to finish up any overdue work. With the online learning, it's very important that you're not getting too far behind because then you'll have a lot of work to make up at the end of the quarter or semester or the school year, depending upon how your courses are set up. It is very important, guys, that you are taking the time to do extra work. Kind of like brick and mortar schools, traditional school settings might have homework that they send home during the school week. Any of those overdue lessons can also be considered kind of homework-ish, and just do those at night to kind of get caught up, okay? So these are just some tips to working through and kind of getting started with your lessons, things you'll need to do each day when you are learning online. If you do have any questions, as always, please let your course teacher know or let me know, send me a message here in YouTube, and I'd be more than happy then to get back to you and kind of give you some ideas. But always reach out to your specific teachers because they will be able to help you the best. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen,